Alright, so I also had Puss in Boots. So Alright, so when I was first trying to make the cat, I started off with the triangle body like all the other stories that everyone else had. But I thought it kind of looked like a girl. It didn't look very, like, I don't know, it didn't look right. So then I like added a circle head. Then I thought it made like more like a girl. So I added a tail too. Like this just, it's getting worse. So I changed the whole body. I made it more sturdy and strong so it'd be like more, what's the word, like, changing, I don't know, you know what I mean, that word?
Athletic looking?
Yeah, like more built and structured. And then added its head and ears, and its little boots, of course, because it's Puss in Boots. And then I was making the king, and I thought, oh, purple is the royalty color, so I added purple, and then I tried adding eyes, and then I changed his arms a little bit because he looked like too stiff. But then when I noticed, when I was like actually going through the scenes, like the purple was such a bold color next to the orange that I just changed it to black, and he looked more elegant and yeah, and then the crown and stuff. This is my ogre towards the end of the scene. So he turns into a mouse. So I thought I'd like try and start making a mouse, but then I thought that looked too much like a duck maybe, like with a tail. I wasn't so sure. And then I went like simplifying it, like it looks too much like a clicker mouse. Like that won't get the point across either. So then I went with like a standing up like mouse, you know. And then I wanted to show like transition. So then I wanted to make the actual ogre. So then I went with a triangle head, stern body, like the cat. But then he kind of looked like a cone head. I didn't like it. So then I added a circle head, but I thought he looked too like soft. So I wanted to make him more like scary and terrifying and like strong. So then I went with all squares and rectangles and like a really mean eye because he's scary as an ogre. So for my first scene, I added the cat, like giving the bunny, so like all of his like gifts to the king to like soften him up, make him like feel happy and whatever. But I thought it was really blank, not a whole lot going on. So I added a floor, like still not a whole lot going on. So my final scene, like I went back and added a ton of detail, made it look like he was actually in a room, show like it's in the castle. So I added a portrait of himself because in castles you see like paintings of the royalty people, and then a rug to make it feel homey. For my second scene, I want to show where they were showing his master trickery. So I put his master or whatever in the lake and like drowning, and then the rock with the clothes behind it because he was messing with them, and then the king and the people he was with in a cart. But I thought it looked too jumbled, like you didn't actually know what was happening. So I moved it around a little bit, and then I showed him like coming down the path, and then the cat like stopping him saying, oh no, and then like the clothes behind the rock more, so like he couldn't see it, so it'd be like more discreet. But then I thought there was too much white space still, so I inverted all the colors, so it's more dark. So there's my final scene, the master trickery of the scene. And then for my last scene, I wanted to show the cat eating them talking to each other, and the ogre changing into the mouse, because it's like that was the importance of the scene, how the ogre could change. So I first started with both of them, and then like the ogre and the mouse, but I didn't really think you could tell what was actually happening because it was just like a mouse and an ogre. So I tried to show like a transition, so like as it's like moving down. So that's what I did for that. But then I thought it was still too bare, like you don't know where they are they in the woods? I don't know. So I added like the rich fancy castle, like a chandelier because he's known as like the richest of all places, the fancy ogre door, but I wanted it to still be like dark because he's still an ogre. So this was my final scene 3, But then I also went back and added eyes just to denote direction. So my first one with eyes, second one with eyes, and then my last.
You pull down the bottom of the window too, so that it covers, yeah, and that will give you a little more space
So 14, 15, and 16. Hayden?
Why did you choose the scene you chose?
I wanted to show like the progression of the cat. So like when he was buttering up the king, and then when he was finally tricking the king, and then when like his final glory. So when he finally made it like himself and his master, like
I really like how you changed in the second scene from the white to the gray. Like you said, you inverted the colors. I think that made it look a lot better.
Haley? You're really good at speaking. The only thing I'd say is tone down the arms just a little bit. So, that's fine. Alec?
I like how you changed your second final from what you had at first. You were right, it was jumbled up and it was hard to tell what exactly was going on. But I think that changing the color of the clothes, at first you had them black behind the rock, and then when you changed them to the cat's color, it showed that it was the cat's clothes. So I think that was also strong, and your person drowning was also well done.
I like how you put in the eyes. So I was like worried about that for a little bit. So I was like, where do they look like? And then
Yeah, I was heard that from other presentations, so I was like trying to show how they're facing. So it was-
Yes, it's very important.
I liked how you showed the transition from the over to the mouse. That was good.
Oh yeah.
I really like how in the third scene that you added all the detail and like the door and the chandelier. That looks really good.
I like all the details and like the backgrounds. I think it's like easy to tell like where
Yeah, I think you give a strong impression that you really thought about it and wanted it to be the best way it could be. In the second slide, I wanted to ask you though, did you consider putting the rock on the other side of the path and the clothes so that it would be like down in the other corner?
Didn't know, because I thought if they were coming from this way, I thought it'd be like, I wanted all the action like happen this way, I guess.
You mean coming from the upper left down
They
to
actually did
the
it.
the upper right down to the lower left?
Oh yeah, I did it in this scene. I like put it in the corner, but I thought it was like too, I don't know. I wanted it to be like on the other side. So it was, like, does that make sense? See, like I did it in this first one, right?
Yeah.
And then I moved it because I thought it would look better.
But once you've moved things for the last time there, I'm really wondering if the rock and the clothes wouldn't be better on the other side of the street, right? Because the motion of the vehicle is from the upper right to the lower left, right? So you would show the rock, if you showed it on the bottom, you could clearly show the clothes, this side of it would be out of their sight. It might just balance off the lake a little bit too. What do you think about that at any rate? Because I think it would allow the clothes to be seen a little better. Really, I didn't notice them all that much because they're not outlined once you turned it to the gray, you know. But I think it's a good thing that the clothes are represented there as being, you know. And I also thought it was very clever of you to use the shadow so that we would know that the rock was a rock, not a bush or something like that, was casting a shadow, and that those clothes were near the shadow to hide them. And our mind actually kind of puts them in the shadow. But other than considering that repositioning, I think that the slides are really filled out well. And the choices that you made to use the gray gave you some good options for both interior and exterior scenes there. But it was your attention to detail that I think really caught my eye on this. I also think you did a very good job presenting. I could hear you. You knew a lot of the names. Good job. Anyone else? Good. Ah,
She actually told the story, like she told the whole thing, she didn't just like tell bits and pieces of
yeah, I mean, there were good scene selections to begin with, and that's, that's important, and it gave you a chance to kind of give us a bit of narrative with it. Good observation.